Hi, everyone. I'm Paul with MadCap Software. We are on video number 3 of our series on styles in MadCap Flare. This video, we are going to concentrate on what are called primary and local style sheets. It all has to do with making sure that the content that you're writing can access is associated with the style sheets that you create. Now, you can have multiple style sheets in a project. I do. Some people might just need one. Now, if you're one of those lucky people who just has one style sheet, this is going to be a real quick video for you and you'll be done in no time. But if you happen to have a need for multiple style sheets, you need to be aware of where they can be set, the different levels where style sheets can be set, and how to set them. And then what happens when particular content is possibly receiving style information from multiple style sheets. What happens? Who wins? So we're going to take a look at all of that in this video. Okay, so you can have multiple style sheets, and there are 3 levels where they can possibly be set. Number 1, style sheets can be set at the project level. Number 2, they can be set at the target level. Number 3, they could be set at the content file level. And so the ones that are set either at the project level or at the target level, those are referred to as primary style sheets. They're really kind of global style sheets in that you set them at those levels and they can affect lots and lots or even all of your content files just real easily. And there's just no guessing in that. The style sheets that are set on individual content files, we call those local style sheets because they're sort of the exception to the rule. The rule is, if you can, you want to set a primary style sheet. That's really what you want. But you might have need to also set things at the content file level. So those are the 3 levels. Now, if you are one of those lucky people who is just has one, and you can set a primary style sheet at the project level. That's what you want to do. We are going to next talk about how to set and where to set these project level style sheets, both at the at the project level and at the target level. And then later we'll get into setting the content, the local style sheets at the content file level. So yeah, if you just have the one style sheet, you're going to watch the next section and then you're probably going to be done. Okay, let's jump into Flare and let's see where you set these primary style sheets. Got my little Flare project open here, and if I open up my resources folder, I can see that I've got these 2 style sheets. And let's say that this one right here, Styles CSS, that's the one that I got most of my stuff in, or maybe I don't have pretend that you don't have a second style sheet, you just have one. But either way, you want to set this at a broad level. The general rule of thumb is, if you can, you want to set things as wide out as possible rather than narrowly at a file level. Because if I set it out broad, it's just less work. Everything's just going to use that. So the broadest level is the project level. So I could come into my home ribbon all the way over to the right, and you see properties. And oh, sorry, actually, there's a couple of properties dialogues. I picked the wrong one. It's actually in the project ribbon, and you select project properties right there. This is the one. So you open this thing up and you go to the defaults tab, and you have this primary style sheet field here. And all you need to do is select which one you want to use for your primary style sheet. Now, you also have this allow local style sheets checkbox. And if you also have one or more style sheets and you want to set them locally on content files, you want to make sure that that is selected. Okay. So otherwise, you're not going to be able to do it down there at that level. So then you just click OK and it's set and you're done. And what that means is all of your content files, the topics, the snippets, the template pages, it's all going to use the styles from that one style sheet. Perfect. So if you can do that, that's what I would suggest. Now, you can also go down a level lower to your targets and set primary style sheets there. So I've got a couple of targets in here. I've got an HTML5 and a PDF, and I can open up this style sheet or this target in here, and you go to the General tab, and you're going to see once again primary style sheet, and I could select one of these. So maybe I have this styles style sheet at the project level, and I could select this other style sheet at the target level, just using a different one. And again, you have this allow local style sheets checkbox in here, and you need to select that if you want to go down a level lower. So some people might want to use this option. They might want to have it set at the target level because they maybe some of their targets, it's just going to be set to use the project level one, but then they want specific style sheets to be used for a certain number, certain types and kinds and number of targets. Well, you can do that. I don't do that. I will tell you a little bit later in this video what I do, because I do have multiple style sheets, but I choose not to do that. I don't set it at the target level, but the option is there if you want it. I'm going to undo those changes there. And okay, so we have the primary style sheets at the project and the target level. Now, we are going to talk about precedence also later in this video, because you can see what could happen here, a collision where the topic might be looking at, okay, I'm in this target, but I'm also part of the project, and the project style sheet's telling me one thing and the target style sheet's telling me another thing. What happens? Well, we're going to take a look at all that later under precedence. So that, though, is what happens. That's where you set those primary style sheets. So what we want to do next is we're going to assume that you also want to have local style sheets, or at least one of them, and we're going to see where that can be set. So we've seen how you can set these style sheets at the project and the target level. What about the local level down on a content file, like a topic? Let's go check that out. So once again, I do have these two style sheets in here, and let's say this one right here, styles, is set at the project level, and let's just say that I don't have any set at the target level, and now I'm thinking, okay, I do want one set at the local level, and maybe you just want to set it on a topic. So you can set it on different things. You can set it on a topic. You could set it on snippets if you wanted to, and you could set it on template pages, right? Because those are all content files. And so setting it on a topic file or a template file is going to be most common. So for example, this home topic right here, I could set it on this. And the way that I do this is I just want to open up the properties dialog for this. There's different ways to open up the properties dialog. I like to right click, or you could select it and select this button, click that button right there. And you come in here, and on the topic properties tab, you've got this style sheet option right here, and you can click select, And now this dialog comes up, and I could associate it with not just one, but multiple style sheets. But in this case, let's just say I want the one. I could double click this, or I could select it and click that, and it moves it over to the right. So this one is associated with that topic once I click OK. All right. And you could, as I said, you can associate multiple style sheets with things. Now, the way that it works is if I were to select two of these, the one that is most recent in the list, if there's multiple ones in here, the most recent one is going to have priority. So if there's a conflict between these, the most recent one added is going to win if there's a conflict. But I am just going to select this one right here and click OK. Now I've got that style sheet set. And you also have this checkbox in here. So I do have the style sheet set at the project level. If I have one at the project level or target level, you could click this to disable those. You might have a reason to do that, and that way it's just going to use the local one. So that's just an option for you. I'm going to click OK. So now that style, that topic, it will use styles from that project level style sheet that's set in this project properties dialog, but it's going to give preference to what is set closer to it. Whatever, that's the rule of thumb. Whatever is closer is going to win. All right. So I've got it set there. I could also set it on template pages. So the template pages, that of course is important because the template page is going to supply content to multiple topics in the output at that point when you generate the output. So if I set it here on that home topic, I've got this home page template page. Maybe it makes sense also to set it there because that they go together. That's the way I've just kind of designed it. So it's the same thing. You open this up, got this style sheet links tab, and I can select that and it moves it over to the right. Now, if you open this up and you don't happen to see the style sheet links tab, what's probably happened is at the project level or the target level, that little checkbox where it says enable or allow local style sheets, that's not selected. That's usually what happens there. I'm going to click OK. So I've got it set there and there. Now, as I said, you could also set it on snippets. You could open this up and style sheet links, the same thing. Now, there aren't really too many use cases for setting it on a snippet, though, because what happens is you insert a snippet into topics or into other snippets, and whatever styles that topic is going to use, the snippet is going to use it too. So now you could possibly want to supply this if maybe you don't set a style sheet at the project level or the target level. And so when you open up your topics, they look like kind of all ugly because there isn't, if you don't have a style sheet associated with that with that topic, they can look ugly because there's no styles. And that's what happens with snippets when it's not using a style. But this one right here, I've got a snippet and it looks fine because it is just going to use the style sheets. You're going to see it in the editor that it's using from that primary style sheet. Now, when I generate the output, I mean, it depends on what style sheets, we're going to get into that into the precedence when you got styles coming from multiple places, but the snippet's just going to kind of take that on. So I wouldn't worry too much about setting a style sheet on a snippet. Maybe you got a good reason to do it, but most people, there's no reason to. So now what do I do? Because I have multiple style sheets in my project, I've got a need to do this. So let me take you into my project. And I showed you this in an earlier video where I do have Let me see down here, style sheets. I've got a few style sheets, and the two primary ones are the styles one and the homepage one. So this is the one that is used for almost everything. And I set that at the project level. And so it's just there. And I do allow local style sheets because I do have this other style sheet, and I want to associate that with my home topic. And so I have a home topic and a home template page, and I associate that with both of those. That's what I do. I don't set things at the target level. I do have a need. I have lots and lots of targets, lots of targets. And if I open this up, you're going to see we've got all these products. And then if I just open the Flare product line, you can see, okay, I've got multiple targets in these. I've got online targets, and I've got a lot of PDF targets in these folders. And then I've got these other products. And so you could see where maybe someone might want to say, okay, I want a different style sheet for each one of these products. I could do that. But instead, what I do is something that I alluded to in a previous video, is I use mediums in my style sheet. So Lingo has an orange look, whereas say Capture has a blue look. And so the vast majority of the styles that these outputs are using are exactly the same. And so I want them all in the same style sheet, but there's just a few tiny changes. And so I use mediums instead of having multiple style sheets. I'm just relying on that one main one. That's what I do. Okay. So now we know where to set these at both the primary and the local level. Now in the next section, let's get into precedence and talk about what happens when collisions happen. Because if you got multiple style sheets, it's bound to happen. All right. Interesting things happen when you have multiple style sheets and content is being told one thing from one and one thing from the other. It's like parents telling their kids different things and the kids going, I don't know what to do. But in this case, the topics, they know what to do. There are rules for what happens. But if you're not aware of what the rules are, it's easy to get confused when you see the XML editor or the output, and you're expecting something to look one way, but it looks another way. And a lot of times the reason for that is because you got these competing style sheets and these competing styles, and one has to win. You can't tell a paragraph to be blue and red and have it be both. I mean, it's not going to combine into a purple. It's either going to be blue or red. And it depends on where that command is coming from. Is it coming from this style sheet or that style sheet? So what we need to do is look at the rules. And the best way to talk about this, to illustrate this, is to go into the online help and show you a topic that I've got in there that lays this out and gives you some examples, because I don't have all the rules memorized in detail. I mean, I kind of know what they are, but I would need to go into the help and refresh my memories. Oh yeah, it does this, this, and this. And so then if you look through the examples, then it makes sense why you're seeing one thing and not another. So go into the help and you can search for something like, you can search for precedence if you're in the, I believe in the server version, or primary style sheet, and you're going to get this. This comes up. This is what you're looking for. You're looking for this topic, primary and local style sheets and precedence. Basically the same thing that I'm talking about in this video. And you open this up and you come down here. And so this is just what I'm talking about in this video. And you got this precedence for topics in the Flare interface. So I'm talking about the XML editor or the micro content editor. So micro content comes into this too. And maybe you're just hearing about micro content for the first time right now and you're going, well, I have no idea what that is. Micro content is the coolest feature, and it's my favorite feature in all the land. But it's not going to trip us up here in this. You don't need to know all about micro content, but if you have pieces of micro content, it comes into play here too. So what I have down here is the order. If you've got a local style sheet associated with a micro content file, again, if you don't know what micro content is, this doesn't matter because it's not going to affect you. But if you do happen to have one, that is going to be the winner chicken dinner. And but the thing is, it only affects the micro content. So it's really not, you're not going to have to worry too much about that. So local style sheet associated with topics. So remember, the closer something is to the source, it's going to be the winner. It's going to be the thing that has precedence. And there's local style sheet, it's right there. It's set on that file. So it is going to win over a primary style sheet, which is third, the primary style sheet. So you could have a primary style sheet set on a target and on a project. Well, but only one styles from one primary style sheet are going to be used here. All right. So if you have a primary style sheet set on the target, on the primary target, because you go into Flare and you have the targets, you have one of these set as a primary. All right. So if it's set as a primary target, that'll win. If you don't have it set on the target, then the project. So then that's the last one, right? So if you have conflicting styles on this style sheet and one of these style sheets, then the local one's going to win. But you could have some styles on one of these primary style sheets that isn't even in the local style sheet, and it'll show up. So then I would just look through this example. If this is something that you think might affect you, look through the example. Go through details. I don't want to spend all the time in this video going through all the details, but I explain what happens when you have one thing set on one style sheet and the other on the other style sheet, and what you're going to see and what you won't see. So that was precedence for the Flare interface, the XML editor. But there's a different precedence when it comes to the output. Why is that? Why would you have a different precedence? Well, for the most part, it's the same. But the thing is, you have template pages also, right? Well, you're not going to see your template pages in the XML editor. Template pages only come into play when you generate the output, and then they're a factor. And so what you see is going to be slightly different here, at least the additional content provided by the template pages. So the order here is in the output, the local style sheet, again with the micro content file, that is numero uno. Local style sheet associated with topics, that is going to get, that's going to show. And then local style sheet associated with template pages. That has the next level of precedence. And then your primary style sheet. And again, only one primary style sheet styles can be used. And in this case, it's any target, not just the primary target, but any target. And that would be the winner if you have it at both the target and the project level. Otherwise, then at the very end is the project one. So again, what you really want to be able to do in an ideal situation is have one style sheet and it's set at the project level, and that's just the easiest thing to do. But if you do have these different levels of complexity, this is what's going to happen. And again, I got another example here that you can run through if you are concerned about this. So that is it. That is what happens when you're getting conflicts. I just wanted to talk about it because if you understand that there are certain rules to this, it will make more sense why you may or may not be seeing what you expect in the XML editor or in the output. So there you have it. different style sheets, different levels. Hopefully you are able to have a setup that's as simple as possible, but Flare is a super flexible tool. You can get really, really complex if you want to, and just know what the rules are. That's it. So that is going to do it for this video. Let's keep going down the road in our next video on styles and MadCap Flare.